Okay, let us begin.
Hello everyone, I'm Gary, Junyi Tu, and welcome to our presentation. Here we will introduce and demonstrate the final project we have done in the ICS course. Our basic goal of this project is to add some extra features from the original chat system we built ourselves, including a graphical user interface, secure encrypted messages, and a Python pictionary game. In this presentation, we'll first briefly share our inspirations and introduce these features. Then we'll present a general code logic to help you know better about how these features work. Okay, now let's begin with the introduction part. In this part, we will briefly share our inspirations, like why do we choose this topic. We aim at giving you a more comprehensive understanding about what we are doing. Firstly, it is the GUI part. Since the chat system is run on the terminal command line, all inputs and outputs are only found from the plain terminal window. However, as we all know, currently all the developed softwares and websites are implemented with user-friendly interfaces, usually by JavaScript. But this time we are going with Python's T-Center interface introduced by our professors during the lectures and recitations. This GUI package helps us to add a user interface to enhance the chatting experience. And besides the basic functions of passing and receiving messages, we add some extra features to it. Firstly, it is the register and login feature. We know that users may want to have their private account, which can only be used by himself as a digital property. So we designed the register and login features so that only after people sign in and created their username and password, they can log in to our chat system. Secondly, we add an emoji feature. We found that chatting only by texting is a little bit boring, serious, and too formal. So we added an emoji function that allows users to send and receive emojis. Thirdly, we also use GUI to allow users to initiate their game and decide whether they wanted to lock and secure their message. Then the next part we have done is the secure messaging part. As everyone knows, we humans are very good at passing secrets. You just need to whisper at another person's ear and to pass on your secret. However, computers do not have the means to whisper in another computer's ear. So we need to use some complicated codes and formulas to process our messages. In this project, our goal was to allow the users to chat without the monitoring of the server. Finally, it is the pictionary game part. Making socket-based online games seem like a very exciting topic to us. For a Python game, we thought it was important to choose a game that was easy to play and very interesting. So we made this Picture Me Guess game. This is a game that I have played with a lot of my friends. A player draws and others guess. In this code, we are asking the Python game server to assign the drawer's action to both drawer's board and other guesser's screen. Moreover, we have a prepared word list so that if the guesser's input does match the word, it will return a correct message. Now, let's see the concrete demo of our apps.
Okay, hello guys. Now I'm gonna show you how do we integrate GUI with chat system and our register function and our login check. And we're also gonna show you guys how our secure messaging will work really quick. Okay, let me start the server. And starting server, starting the client socket. Here it is. So we'll have our login interface. Another one, right? So let me just not showing them. Right. So for this, I'm gonna try to enter the enter the chat system, but I do not have an account, so I have to register first. Right, I just reply. Now I have the account, and let's see what if we give the wrong password. They will tell us, and we're gonna log in. And for another guys, you may call like Qing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I know I have to register first, right? Qing. Okay. And here it is our interface. We can start a game with another guys by clicking the game, and we can also send the messages by clicking this button. So I'm gonna show you how our secure messaging would work. So it will type Ziqi to connect with. Yeah. So now, do you want to allow the server to know your message? It is asking the Ryan, and Ryan says, okay, you just look at them. Okay. But Qing did not willing, so he will say, no, I don't want the server to know what I'm talking about, right? So we're gonna say hi, and Qing gonna say hi. I'm not gonna use hi, right? Hello. So let's look at the server. When Ryan sent hi, the server would print hi, like he really understand it. But when Qing sent hello, it turns out to be a scrambled code that server did not really understand what's going on. So, and I'm gonna do something more. Like when Ryan is saying like, okay, let's send something really cute. Yeah, like hi. Yeah, it turned out um to be the emoji, right? And on the server side, they can't understand it. And for Qing, he can respond, right? Really, like I mean, I'm really cool. Okay, it turns out the emoji works well, and the the server cannot really understand what Qing is talking about. Okay, thank you for your patience. And here is what I'm going to show.
Type which client you want to play with and type the game pattern. Then you can see two parts of the Pictionary game. Here is what you can draw, and it's what the other client should guess, and it's the time, clock, and since it's a tractor, so I will draw a tractor here. And you can change its color here. So you can type what you guess. I think it's so it's correct. And you can play it again. Type play again here. Type play again here. And you can type play again, and you can use tab here to clean it. A dinosaur. So you maybe can't guess it. Oh, it's wrong. And if you type the button S here, you can get out a picture. So that's all of this demonstration.
Okay, and I'm beginning to show you guys our development part. For the development of our GUI part, I created another register interface so that when the user are in the login interface and they need to create an account to log in. they will click the register button on the login interface, and that will lead them to the register interface. So basically, I was assigning an initiate function to the self-register button and place it under the login part. After initiating the registration interface, I design the entry box of the username and the password so that when user input their information, clicks the register button, it will send to the chat server to verify the information to see if it is valid or not valid. I would like to say that GUI part is pretty like um, another client-side machine that allows the user to interact with the chat system even before they log into the server. Okay. Here, I modify the chat server part so that the server can decide what to do when there is a register request and login request. I would like to first mention that the chat server was assigned a dictionary to match all the created username and password. In real-world example, I believe enterprise would also save their user's account in a hard disk so that the account can be safely kept for several decades. In our case, the account would be kept whenever the server is working. Then, inside the if-else block, the server starts to check if you want to register or log in. In the register part, our rules is not so complicated. We do not want any empty password or username. And for username, we ask users to generate a unique one, and it cannot be duplicated. In the login part, the server will slide through the keys of the password dictionary and see if your username exists or not. Check if your username and password is matched. If all of them is valid, you can now go and chat with other users. In the emoji part, the underlying logic is actually similar to secure messaging we are going to talk later. When we pass the message to the chat server, I wanted the chat server to help me loop through the message and find out the part that containing emoji, and then convert these contents to the corresponding emoji when sending this message to other users. Basically, I initiate an emoji dictionary as the attribute of the server class. Then, when our client socket sending message to the server, it will check if there is some string that is absolutely same as the one I list in the dictionary as key. It would automatically change this message to the code of emoji that generates real emoji message. Okay, and let's pass it to the Pictionary part.
So thank you. My name is Xiangdong. I'm responsible for the Pictionary part. In the Pictionary part, compared to the chat system, our main important modules are pgame and tkinter. The informer is the basis for making games, and the later is for us to introduce the guest part and help us make the game interface cleaner. First, we need to initialize the interface and draw in whiteboard, set their size, position, color, and more. Then set some titles, logos, and display words and buttons. Here we need to import external documents and pictures as titles and logos. And we set 3 buttons here, play again, erase, and clean buttons. Second, since this is an interactive game, so we need to set up client side and server side. Here, we do not use the server side of the chat system, but create a new game server. Makes the code look cleaner. At the same time, we also need to write the code for sending and receiving on the client side and on the server side. Next is the main execution program of the game. After completing a series of settings such as game state and time, we need to import the word game program to help us implement the word guessing part. The word game mainly uses the tkinter module, which is similar to the GUI interactive program and has the same principle. Finally, set the main draining operations. Here we mainly set 4 types of tasks. Is mouse motion, mouse button up, mouse button down, key down. Used to detect mouse movement and release press, and the keyboard press. It is used to complete the painting operation, erase operation, and the screenshot functions. So that's all of my picture part.
Thank you, and I may continue to introduce our development of secure messaging. Okay. For secure messaging, before we're going to encrypt and decrypt the message, we have to first import the package called pycrypto. Notice that we have to download the crypto by inputting pip install cryptodumi in the terminal instead of pip install crypto, because this encryption package is a little bit outdated and the install command has been recently updated. So this package helps us to generate a complicated enough keys for us to safely keep our secret. Here we import RSA, a key system from crypto, and import random method from crypto to allow it to generate the random scramble code for us. Then we use the key from RSA to write the binary transfer file. Later, we're going to use the content from private key file to encrypt and use the public key file to decrypt it. Here is how I integrate the secure messaging with the GUI. Basically, when there is a need to check if we want to share our secret with the server, your client socket would check the condition and call this AskScript function to generate the interface, which asks you if you want to share your secret with the server, then verify your response to change your corresponding encryption status. Initially, we forgot to write the decrypt method, and so that we just encrypt the message and sending the encrypted message to one guy and the original message to another guy in the same group, but never decrypt them. Afterwards, when we check out the code, we find out this logic is not completely correct and we fix it later. Now, we're doing in a way that is more appropriate. When the users want to connect with another person, we're going to ask these two guys if they want to leave their message to be understandable for the server, and accordingly change their encryption status. Now, we assume both of them want to encrypt the message. When a user sends their message, before the client socket passes the message to the server, the socket would process, meaning encrypt the message, and so that the server did not understand what your message is talking about. Then, when another guy he want to receive the message, before the message is printed out on the screen, your socket will decrypt the message to allow it to be understandable for the client. Okay, so I'm gonna pass the self-evaluation part to Gary. Okay.
Thank you. And okay, now we are going to the self-evaluation and impression part. We will make conclusion and give some reflections on our work. Overall, I'm still very proud with our progress because we literally integrate a lot of stuff all together into one chat system. And we have to really coordinate with the change of chat server and client socket machine. Sometimes the modification of these files, for example, for new GUI features, would mess up with our earlier change of implementation of our Python game. I think all my teammates are willing to help each other because of the fact that we are in charge of different features. Some of the change cannot be immediately understood by other team members, and we'll try our best to explain all of them and make sure all of us would work frequently during the implementation of this final project. However, we have to admit there are still a lot of things that need to be improved and addressed. For GUI, there are still a lot of features that can be integrated. We can still design more buttons for connection, display time, And we may further try to display users' profile photos. For Pictionary game, the time counters of each side of the two sides are sometimes not constant. There still exists a time delay about 1 or 2 seconds between different users. For secure messaging, we want to further have the functionality of blocking another people in the group instead of the server from understanding our chat. It is really interesting that another guys will not know what we are talking about, even he is in the group. And that's all for our presentation. And thank you everyone for watching. And here is our some referees.